Good evening. This is October 30th, 2024, and I'm feeling a lot better. I think I sound a lot better, and I'm so grateful because I think I'm going to get to have my first surgery this weekend. Um, you're going to see me in the future with bangs and such. I'm going to have a tissue expander on my forehead so that a nasal flap can be done to really genuinely create a real nose, not just make a little bit like a real nose. So it looks like things are headed that way. I'll keep you posted on that. I had to get through labs and blood work and stuff, and I had to hustle a little bit today, what with feeling sick and all. But I did have a lot of thoughts about what's going on. I'm not a healthcare professional, but I'm realizing that this for me is so cleansing and purifying, and it's just a form of, I guess, radical acceptance, even though that is a clinical term. But what I mean by it is that the more I talk about it, the more I accept, yeah, that's the way it is, and I'm not a bad person. That's what happened. Let's carry on and deal with the person who is bad and just stop putting the blame on me. I've always had a pretty tough time on social media because of my facial difference. And if it wasn't people arguing with me about how it's somehow my fault that someone tried to kill me, um, when I, truly wasn't doing anything wrong. But before this, it was always people insulting me and making jokes about how I look because I do makeup and skincare. And I love giving those tips and I love doing makeup and I love wearing makeup. But people feel like you don't have a right to do that if you don't meet beauty standards and look a certain way. And, so I'm pretty much accustomed to that. And I'm accustomed to being belittled because of the emotional and narcissistic abuse that I suffered for so long. One thing I want to talk about is I was thinking a lot today about this is going to sound so crazy. I shared my story with another lady who was set on fire um, in very much similar manner in a domestic violence situation. And this is several months ago. And we talked and she offered her advice. And at the end of the conversation, I said, and oh my God, I'm going to tell you something. His mother set a house on fire when she was going through the divorce from his father. Just yeah. It was something that I had remembered him saying to me. I don't know why he told me, um, but I'd remembered it. So I did an Intellius search and I found that she had burned a house down and been convicted of insurance fraud. And um, he had told me that she was desperate for money because to fight the divorce and had made a bad decision. There were some other things that popped up on her background check too. But what I think is important about this is that the lady that I was speaking to said, yeah, my guy's mom set a car on fire. So again, I'm not a mental health professional, but I'm like, wait a minute, this narcissist guy attacked you and set you on fire, and his mother set a car on fire. Y'all gotta ignore my dog. You know how he is when I'm trying to make a video. Drinking water. He's a big dog, like 130 pounds. He just, I love him. Okay, he's done. So, uh, I'm just really trying to calculate this in my mind because there was also an incident where I really loved his mother. I don't want to talk bad about her, but these are facts, okay? Um, there was a time when she was visiting us, and I was pretty excited because I was doing like Thanksgiving and what was my dream house and cooking dinner, and she had come to visit. And he disappeared. Had a friend that came by who was just a good for nothing junkie like he was, and He was going to try to sneak him in the basement, I think. It's like he disappeared outside the house for a while. I'm calling him. He's literally not answering the phone while he's outside the house. And I'm like, what the heck? What, did he leave? What happened? And that's what he always used to do. So here I am thinking he's freaking disappeared on Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving, with his mom visiting. And turns out he's trying to sneak this guy into the house because this guy is, you know, ghosting his wife. And I'm like, you got to go home, but you got to get out of here, right? So that's not happening. And your mom's here, and you're not doing that. So I got really mad and took him outside, and I was yelling at him because that's what I did back then. And she heard me yelling at him, or I don't know if she heard me or whatever, but she comes outside at the end. I'm smoking a cigarette, drinking wine, sitting outside. And she's like, what's going on? And I tell her, and she's like, well, don't yell at him about it. No, in that moment, I'm like, fuck, I'm a little bit lit. But in retrospect, what do you mean don't yell at him about it? That's exactly who is to blame, but you're saying he's not. He was her oldest son. And I've heard that a narcissistic son always comes as a result of the mother. And I've heard that the mother always defends the narcissistic son. It's part of the problem. It creates it. It is the reason that he is, and it's so twisted when I say it, but clearly he lived in that. And he always loved fire. He would stare into it for hours. He's just got to have a fire. It's 100 degrees outside. He's got to have a fire. It never really made sense. But when you put all this together, it does. But it only makes sense in such a twisted kind of, I'm not qualified to analyze it. But it obviously is all linked together, particularly when the other lady tells me, oh yeah, his mom set a car on fire when she was mad at his dad. That's all the energy I have for today because I've been thinking about that all day. And just, how is that possible? If you know, please tell me. It's two cases. I gotta get my nails done. It's two cases of a man setting a woman on fire, and the mother has previously committed an arson. I think in the other case, he had committed other arsons as well, but she didn't find out until they were going to court. Who knows? Maybe mine has committed other arsons, and I'm afraid he's committed other crimes because it's 20 years of disappearing. So this is all kind of heavy on my heart, and it's been heavy on my heart. Like, where was he really? It'll be merciful if he was just out cheating and not really, really hurting someone. So, y'all be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. All the supers and the members, I've been out of the house all day trying to get clearance for surgery. But I did list all the members and the super thanks. I'm moved by all of you, and I'm moved by everyone who's commenting and telling me your stories. I'm reading as many as I can because when we stand together, we are strong. I love y'all. Remember that whatever you're going through, this too shall pass.